What if I told you that a $500,000 investment could earn you over $1 million without lifting a finger? Or that you could lose it all just as easily? Let's break down the real numbers behind this life-changing question. Welcome back to Simply Money. $500,000 sounds like a lot, and it is, but what you do with it determines whether it becomes a wealth-building machine or a missed opportunity. Many people believe investing is simple. Put your money in, wait, and watch it grow. But the reality, it's not that easy. There's confusion over what returns to expect, how much risk to take, and where to invest. Some expect 20% yearly returns because, well, they saw it once on Reddit. Others fear losing everything and leave money sitting in a low-interest savings account. To make smart decisions, you need a realistic understanding of your options and how each one plays out over time. Let's explore what happens when you invest $500,000 in different ways, from the ultra-safe to the slightly risky, and how much you can realistically expect to earn. We'll look at returns, risk, real-life examples, and one sneaky factor that eats away at your money: inflation. Let's start with the safest realm people take, and that's high-yield savings accounts. This is safety with almost no growth. High-yield savings accounts today offer between 4 to 5% interest, depending when you're watching this. It's FDIC insured, practically zero risk, and liquid, meaning you can get your money at any time. Annual return would be about $22,500 at 4.5%. Over 10 years, it would grow to about $641,000. But the real return after inflation, assuming a 3% inflation rate, would be approximately 1.5%, which means your true purchasing power after 10 years would be $578,000. So not very much of a gain there in purchasing power. The pros: it's safe, liquid, and ideal for short-term needs. The cons is inflation eats most of your gain. This is good for emergency funds or short-term goals, not long-term wealth. Moving up in the risk categories, we have bonds. The stability with modest returns. Government or corporate bonds typically return 3 to 5% annually, with lower volatility than stocks. So your annual income would be approximately $15,000 to $25,000. Over 10 years at 4% interest, it would grow to $740,000. However, adjusted for inflation, your purchasing power would be about $548,000. So after 10 years, you've gained about $48,000 in purchasing power. So the pros on bonds would be predictable income and capital preservation. The cons on this is low growth after inflation. Interest rates can hurt prices. This is ideal for conservative investors or retirees needing stable income. Now let's get into stocks. Higher risk, higher reward. The S&P 500 has averaged 7 to 10% annually over the last 100 years. Investing in a broad market ETF like VOO or SPY gives you access to this growth. 10 years at 8% would be approximately $1.08 million. Over 20 years, $2.33 million, and after 30 years, it would grow to approximately $5 million. Inflation adjusted, assuming a 3% inflation rate, would equal a 5% real return, so approximately $2.1 million in 20 years. The pros for the S&P 500 is long-term compounding, ownership in great companies. The cons is volatility. Market drops are inevitable. This is best for long-term investors who can stomach short-term dips. All right, now number 4, we have real estate. Tangible asset with dual returns. Let's say you buy a rental property outright for $500,000. It brings in $2,500 a month in rent. That equals $30,000 a year, or 6% return, plus 3% yearly appreciation. So in 10 years, $300,000 in rent plus approximately $174,000 in appreciation, that comes to $974,000. Inflation hedge because rents and property values tend to rise with inflation. The pros: he's got cash flow plus appreciation and inflation protection. The cons, though, you have property management headaches, vacancies, and repairs. It is not passive. Don't let anybody tell you that rental income is passive. But this is powerful for wealth building, but be ready to work or hire help. Number 5, we have mutual funds. This is very similar to the S&P 500, where we're going with mutual funds and ETFs, the passive path to wealth. Index ETFs like VTI, which is the total U.S. market, or VTIAX, which is total international, offer built-in diversification and lower risk than picking individual stocks. 8% average return on $500,000 turns it into $1.08 million in 10 years. Your real return, inflation adjusted, would be about $793,000. The pros of ETFs and mutual funds is diversified, low cost, great for beginners. Cons, still subject to market swings, and it's not get rich quick. It's a solid choice for passive, long-term investors. All right, number 6, we have individual stocks. High risk, potential high reward, or loss. You could put $500,000 into Amazon or Nvidia and make a fortune, or lose half in a crash. Let's say best case, 10x return, you're looking at $5 million. Worst case, 70% downturn, you're looking at having $150,000 left. So the pros of individual stocks: potential for massive gains. The cons: high volatility, emotional investing, and poor odds of beating the market. Only invest in individual stocks with money you can afford to lose. Now here's a word on inflation. If inflation averages 3% per year, in 20 years, your $500,000 only has the purchasing power of about $276,000. So a 2% return might feel safe, but in reality, you're losing money slowly. Investing isn't just about making money. It's about protecting it from inflation. Let's say you invest $500,000 in the S&P 500 index fund averaging 8% annually. In 10 years, you have $1.08 million, and with no additional contributions. But here's the twist. Even a 1 to 2% difference in annual returns changes the outcome by hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. That's why choosing wisely, avoiding high fees or bad timing, matters a lot. A $500,000 investment can be life-changing, but only if you use it strategically. Know your risk tolerance, understand your options, and plan for the long haul. What would you do with $500,000? If you got a check right now, what would you do with it? Drop your ideas in the comments below for the community to share and dialogue about. I know what I would do with mine. I'm curious what others would do. I've shared lots of videos. You can see what my plans are, what my philosophy is. I'm curious what those viewing, what your ideas, what your plan would be. Throw that in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit that like button. It really helps us out, gets this video out to other people. And I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell so when future videos come out, you're notified. And we'll see you next time on Simply Money.